How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have an interesting video for you guys. So anyways, before we actually get into the video and start talking about this, I did just want to remind you that I am doing a giveaway on the channel. Once I hit 1,500 subscribers, I'm going to give away $100 worth of my merchandise to one subscriber. Absolutely free to enter, and definitely helps me out a lot as a smaller YouTuber. And also, I did want to give a quick shout out to that dude in blue. I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably already know who he is. So let's be real. I did actually, just kind of watch his video, his little video that he did on it. It was a great video, so I'll leave a link to that down in the description below, as well as the two articles that I'm going to use. I'm pretty much just going to use the same exact articles that he did. And today we're talking about the EPA versus the RPM Act. Now, the RPM Act was pretty much introduced by SEMA, I believe, and it stands for the Recognizing the Protection of Motorsports Act. And pretty much you've probably already heard what's going on. If you've been on social media in the past few weeks, you've probably seen the same flyer going around social media talking about save our race cars, sign this act, blah, 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 get in touch with your local officials. And pretty much what the EPA is currently trying to do, if you don't know what's going on, I'll give you a little brief summary, kind of catch you up. They're pretty much trying to ban all aftermarket parts for cars, mainly just obviously mechanical parts, nothing aesthetic or anything like that. But they're literally looking to ban anything from complete turbocharger and supercharger kits all the way down to an axle back exhaust, cat deletes, different downpipes, stuff like that. And it's really just ridiculous, because at the end of the day, if something like this were to go through, it would pretty much just ruin all of motorsports in the United States of America. Now, that being said, the EPA's overall game plan to do this is pretty much just by outright banning these products in store. There's no way for us to really vote on this issue, so you honestly should definitely get in touch with your local officials, government officials, preferably honestly on the state level. Now, just looking at this article, again, I'm going to leave a link to both of these articles down in the description below, as well as that dude in blue's video. But you can pretty much see that this is from SEMA themselves, and it has all different details that you'd want to know about the RPM Act. And then pretty much click here. This link kind of sends you right to your elected official wherever you may be. You fill out some things, you sign it, and it pretty much just sends the thing over to them. And again, for the most part, this is common sense. It's pretty much bipartisan. You could be on the left, on the right, whatever. If you're into cars, I highly suggest that you put some sort of support towards this. Spread it around, either spread the link around if you have social media, go on SEMA's Instagram, whatever. Pretty much just keep telling more and more people, because a lot of people actually don't even know that this is happening right now, which is kind of ridiculous. Now, this actually already has happened. This battle in the past has happened, I believe, back in 2015 or 2016. And I mean, personally, I think it's kind of just restarting again, because the more liberal administration in the White House currently. So that's just kind of my take on it. And for the most part, what the RPM Act is pretty much trying to do is just reverse the EPA's very screwed up interpretation of the Clean Air Act. We're all, as car community, vehicle community, trying to tell the government to hey, if you actually care about the environment, if you actually care about being a more greener country, there's plenty of other things that you can invest in as a country than going after a very, very small population of either dedicated race car owners, car enthusiasts, diesel trucks. They always repeat diesel trucks, and we're going to get into the article that the EPA, or basically it's the people on the other side, kind of put out, and you'll see right off the bat, it's just pure propaganda. You have a bunch of people out there who are, they're just really big Greta Thunberg and AOC fans, and they really, really believe that, our generation's World War II is fighting climate change. So, I mean, they can really think what they want, and climate change is a whole nother discussion, but there's been many, many, many studies already out that pretty much prove that carbon emissions from overall vehicle transportation make up a very small percentage of at least our country's carbon emissions overall. And the government doesn't want to invest in public transportation, not because obviously they don't care about people who can't afford their own transportation. That's already that's already kind of been figured out. And if you don't know that, and if you think that they actually do care, I feel sorry for you. But if they really did care about certain, carbon emissions from cars, they would invest more in maybe EVs for public transportation. They would invest more for wind energy, nuclear energy. Obviously, I can't say the words nuclear energy because everyone gets so scared, but nuclear energy is pretty much one of, if not the cleanest forms of energy that we can actually go ahead and really implement, and it's also one of the more effective ones. I mean, big ass like wind farms, a lot of the times they're not really that effective. Even some solar panels aren't as effective as they could be. So anyways, bottom line, again, that's like 10 other different topics and 10 other different debates that you can go ahead and have. But for the most part, I want to try to stay focused and pretty much just get my point across that the car enthusiast community who are taking catalytic converters all out of their cars, or running very rich with fuel or whatever, is a very, very small percentage of the overall general population. And I also apologize for that little Windows update thing right there. But anyways, going back to the computer screen now, so we have the kind of, I guess, outlook on the other side, and it is so stupid. I mean, you can see what they're trying to get at with this first picture, how a multi-billion-dollar industry is trying to ruin our air. That is so... There's a lot of stuff in this that is just pretty much just comical because it's pure propaganda. And obviously, people... I don't want to get into the whole like left and right conversation because people are so stupid with politics nowadays, especially in this country. But obviously people that say that they care about climate change or whatever, they see this picture and of course they're going to be pissed off. They're going to be triggered, whatever you want to say. And yeah, they followed up with another picture of some dude rolling coal. And yeah, apparently some dude rolling coal in the middle of nowhere is equal to Dieselgate that Volkswagen did. If you don't know about Dieselgate, I highly suggest searching up pretty much multiple models that Volkswagen put out that were diesel vehicles, I believe. Apparently they were, supposed to be super, super clean, and they just weren't at all. And it cost a lot of money for them, and that's, again, a whole nother conversation. But I highly suggest you search it up because the aftermarket community, diesel truck owners out there that are rolling coal, the small percentage of them, the small percentage of dedicated race cars with full straight pipe exhaust, no catalytic converters, drag cars, etc., that is not equal to what Volkswagen did. Especially in races such as drag races where they're literally over in 10 seconds. It's not equal at all. And what I'm trying to also get across to anyone who might not be a car person out there, I don't want to alienate you, and I don't want to cause this big, oh, my side's good, your side's bad kind of argument and stance. But if you're not into cars, you're not a car enthusiast, I'm going to tell you something right now. A vehicle that is a dedicated race car or race vehicle, whether it's a rally car, drag car, track car, etc., drift car, those cars do not get dailied. And what I mean when I say that is those cars do not get driven every single day. 99.999% of cars that you see on the road every single day have full catalytic converter systems on there, and for the most part they comply with all necessary laws and guidelines, and they don't have an off-road exhaust or off-road intake or anything like that. Continuing on with this extremely stupid and quite frankly arrogant article. As with most tiny obscure bills like this, the reason why the RPM Act keeps on being introduced year after year is money. They go right back to that argument. Yeah, a lot of times people who are, super, I guess, more towards the left when it comes to this issue, they kind of like try to turn around and look at people on the right, and they say, oh, you just care about money, it's corporate America, it's evil corporate America that wants to take our clean air away. No, you idiots. The aftermarket automotive industry is, I believe, anywhere between a $45 to $50 billion industry. That is a lot of jobs. That's a lot of people's well-being. That is a lot of aftermarket parts. Let me tell you that much. And just overall, like, the industry is just huge. So if you're gonna try to really push towards banning all aftermarket mechanical modifications to your car, that is not only going to be detrimental to our economy. So yes, in part it is about money. It's not only going to be detrimental to our economy, it's going to completely ruin motorsports. And by the way, within our lifetime, it is a reality. Unfortunately, it's a sad reality for a lot of car enthusiasts. But within our lifetime, or over the next century, the internal combustion engine is pretty much just going to be wiped out by electric vehicles. Again, unfortunately, like, that's a sad thing to think about. But when we make that transition and we go fully electric, you do realize there's still going to be people racing those cars. They already do. There's so many videos out there of dudes with gutted Teslas taking down dedicated drag cars, either on the street or on the strip. And that's the point of racing. The point of racing isn't to go pollute the entire world and ruin everybody's air. The point of racing is to go fast. At least in drag racing is straight line speed, track racing is around a road circuit, etc. Drift racing is going fast sideways. But the point is going fast and enjoying the sport. And again, all of these vehicles that are used in the sport are not commuter vehicles. They're not used on the street for the most part. You obviously do have your exceptions with people who can either get around some of their state laws, or people who have classic cars that don't need to comply to certain state inspections. On your daily commute, you're not going to be seeing race cars on the street. And I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, so let me also move on to electric vehicles. Now, there's also been multiple studies out there that suggest that if you take new vehicle A, or new vehicle number 1, and new vehicle number 2, and vehicle number 1 was just made and it's an electric vehicle, and vehicle number 2 is a traditional petrol car, right? It is already proven that if both of those vehicles were pretty much developed or manufactured at the same exact time, they're both brand new, both of those vehicles have to have, I believe, 95 or 85,000 miles on the odometer before the EV, the electrical vehicle, actually starts to be better for the environment, because the amount of lithium ion, I believe, mining that needs to take place to manufacture one new electric vehicle is much, much worse for our environment or our world than it takes to manufacture one traditional, vehicle. So that is a whole other topic that I'm not even going to get into today. And yes, I'm not, denying the fact that electric vehicles are eventually going to phase out, the internal combustion engine completely. Which, again, for car enthusiasts, that does suck, but we kind of have to come to terms with the reality, and it's going to happen. If I have to put my money on it, being very conservative, it is almost a guarantee to happen within the next 100 years. But until that point comes, and until we figure out how to actually manufacture and, just produce X amount of electric vehicles and do so in a very safe and efficient and cost-conscious manner, for the most part, the majority of vehicles, and the majority of new vehicles, are still going to be traditional, gas engine vehicles. Now, that being said, that also means that the majority of motorsports are going to use the more traditional cars. Now, mind you, the EPA interpretation of the Clean Air Act, or whatever the hell it's called, would actually just make a sliver of sense if it actually kind of discussed maybe banning just off-road exhausts for civilian cars only, and maybe you need a license to, have an off-road exhaust in a race car or a race vehicle or something like that. But it's not saying that. It is literally saying that they want to ban turbocharger kits, supercharger kits, exhausts, pretty much anything mechanical that has any mechanical value to your car that might make your car faster. So that would obviously be detrimental for the motorsports and aftermarket scene here in the United States of America. And I mean, I don't know, like that's my opinions. Again, there's so many different, topics and subtopics of this discussion. I highly suggest, if you are a car enthusiast, the link's going to be down in the description below. I'll probably also leave a link to SEMA's actual article down in like the pinned comment or whatever the hell. So definitely go down there, click that link, share that link with anyone you know who is also into cars, and just, get in touch with your government officials, because at the end of the day, we have like pretty much no say in this matter. So we can't vote on it, but as long as you get in touch, hopefully the government would actually listen to us, the people. Highly doubt it, but hopefully they actually do. So anyways, that's enough for me ranting. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know what you guys think and your perspectives down in the comments below. For the most part, just keep it civil though. Again, I kind of started off this video with the premise of like, I don't want to make a whole discussion about, oh, my side's super right and your side's terribly wrong. But at the end of the day, this makes no sense. It makes no logical sense. And as a car enthusiast, I feel like I had to say something, especially considering that it's been, circulating throughout social media for the past few weeks. So anyways, guys, again, definitely be sure to subscribe down below. It helps me out a lot. If you learned something from this video, if you haven't heard about this and I'm like the first one telling you, definitely be sure to leave a like down in the video. And also, again, be sure to check out that Dude in Blues video, because he had a lot of really awesome information that I kind of reused for this video. So like always, guys, thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.